Chosen one, stop doubting. Stop pacing back and forth inside your own spirit, wondering if you really heard God correctly, if the vision you saw was only a dream, or if the promise over your life was just imagination. Hear me clearly. Heaven does not speak without intention, and heaven never calls you to something without already preparing the provision. You are not ordinary. You were set apart before you took your first breath. There is a divine seal upon your life, a mark in the unseen realm that identifies you as one who walks with eternal purpose. And I need you to understand this tonight. When God commands, He also funds. The doubt you are wrestling with is not coming from God. It is the residue of fear, the whispers of the adversary who knows what happens when you finally believe. Look back at your life. Notice how every time you thought it was the end, a door cracked open just in time. Notice how people left, resources dried up, and yet somehow your assignment still advanced. That is not coincidence. That is the hand of the one who funds what He commands. Your very survival up until this point has been proof that you are carried by a source greater than yourself. Right now, you are standing at a threshold. You can feel the tension in your chest, the pull in your spirit. It's as if something is about to break, but you can't yet see it. That is heaven pressing into your atmosphere, aligning what seemed impossible, arranging what you thought was lost. And the enemy knows it, which is why the whispers of self-doubt have been louder than ever. But hear this. Your doubt cannot cancel the command of heaven. Your hesitation cannot overturn the decree already spoken over your life. What God has set in motion, no human hand can derail. And though you may not see the provision yet, it is already moving toward you. It is already written in your story. Chosen one, this is not the season to retreat. This is not the moment to shrink back. Something far greater is coming. And in the sections ahead, I will show you what has been concealed, what is about to be revealed, and why you were chosen to walk it out. The struggle you feel now is only the prelude to the blessing that will not just sustain you, but elevate you beyond what you thought possible. Stay close, stay ready, because the very thing you've been doubting is the thing heaven is about to prove real before your eyes. The stirring you feel is not imagination. It is the echo of a voice that spoke before time began, the same voice that stretched the heavens like a curtain and told the seas where to stop. That voice is the one that called you, and it has not gone silent. You may not always hear it in words, but you know it in your spirit, in the deep, unshakable pull that reminds you there is more. Every command that has been whispered into your life did not come to burden you. It came as a seed of destiny. Seeds never look like the trees they will become. They look small, fragile, almost foolish to believe in, but within them rests the blueprint of forests yet unseen. That is how God speaks. He plants in you a word that feels too small to contain the weight of what He promised. Yet hidden inside is the power to multiply beyond measure. Think about it. When Abraham was told his descendants would be more than the stars, he was still childless. When Moses was commanded to lead a people, he was still hiding in the wilderness, stuttering with fear. When David was anointed to be king, he was still tending sheep in fields nobody cared about. The pattern is always the same. The command arrives before the provision, but the provision is already waiting in the unseen. Time to meet the command at the moment you step in faith. This is why heaven keeps pressing the same truth into you. Doubt does not fit the vessel you were made to be. You were crafted to carry faith, even when it shakes you. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to let fear write the story. And your story is being written by a hand that does not fail. Listen closely. The message being poured out right now is not from me. It is not from human wisdom. It is the same Spirit who hovered over the waters at creation, who breathed life into dust, who raised the dead and split the seas. That Spirit is stirring these words into your atmosphere, because you need to know the next chapter is not optional, it is ordained. You have been asking for confirmation, and this is it. The reason you found yourself here, hearing these words, is because the author of your life will not let you miss the memo. You are being prepared for something greater, and God refuses to allow doubt to rob you of the timing. So let your spirit absorb this truth. You are not left to figure it out alone. The path you are walking has already been marked with divine footsteps. Every step you take in obedience is not taken into empty space. It is taken into provision that has been waiting for you. What is coming next will stretch you. It will feel bigger than what you have the strength to carry. But remember, heaven always funds what it commands, and in just a moment, the prophecy itself will unfold before you. The atmosphere around you is shifting, even if your natural eyes cannot yet measure it. There is a current moving beneath the surface of your days, rearranging pieces that once looked scattered and broken. What you thought was delay was actually alignment. What felt like silence was preparation. And now the veil begins to thin, and the prophecy over your life begins to take shape. The command has already been spoken. Heaven has already declared its intent. The blueprint of your future is etched in a scroll with your name written across it. And here is what the Spirit is revealing. The very area where you have felt the most pressure, the most lack, the most confusion, will become the very platform where provision pours out. You have been wondering why that one area of your life has been so attacked, why it feels as if resources are blocked and doors are sealed. The reason is because that is the ground where heaven intends to prove itself faithful. The blessing is not random. It is not scattered to anyone who happens to pass by. It is directed. It is intentional. It has your signature written in heavenly ink, and it will not land in the hands of another. Every scheme to divert it, every plan to delay it, will collapse under the weight of God's timing. This is not just a blessing of survival, it is a blessing of overflow. Picture a river that has been dammed up for years. The pressure behind it grows, the water fights to be released, and eventually, at the exact appointed moment, the barrier breaks. That is what is happening with your life. The years of pressure, the seasons of waiting, have not been wasted, they have been building force. And now, the prophecy reveals that the barrier is about to give way. The flow will not be a trickle, it will be a flood. And what will this flood bring? It will bring provision in forms you cannot predict. Some of it will be financial, yes, because resources are necessary for the assignment. But some of it will come as people divinely connected relationships, allies, mentors, protectors who appear at just the right moment. Some of it will come as opportunities, doors you could not have opened with your own hands, doors that swing wide because heaven whispered your name in the right ear. Some of it will come as clarity, answers to questions that have haunted you, wisdom that suddenly feels alive inside you. The prophecy is not simply about more for the sake of more. It is about alignment. You will see the pieces of your calling lock into place. You will recognize why you had to wait, why you had to endure, why certain paths were blocked. What once felt like rejection will be revealed as redirection. And what once felt like emptiness will be revealed as sacred space being reserved for the right fulfillment. But make no mistake, this prophecy is not casual. It carries weight. It carries responsibility. To whom much is given, much will be required. The provision is not coming just to comfort you. It is coming to commission you. You are being funded not for vanity, but for victory. Heaven does not invest where it does not intend to expand. So listen with your inner ear. The next season is marked by divine acceleration. You may wake up one morning and realize everything shifted overnight. A single phone call, a single encounter, a single door, and suddenly what felt like years of waiting collapses into a single moment of fulfillment. That is how prophecy unfolds. It looks impossible until the moment it looks inevitable. And this is the word being unveiled. The time of preparation is giving way to the time of release. You will not have to force it. You will not have to beg for it. You will not have to prove your worthiness. You will simply walk into it because heaven has already decreed it. What was hidden is about to be revealed. What was withheld is about to be delivered. And the next part of this journey will not only explain the prophecy, but reveal the deep meaning behind why it had to happen this way. What has just been unveiled is not simply a promise of resources or blessings, it is a revelation of how the kingdom operates. If you can grasp the spiritual meaning beneath the prophecy, your faith will not just rise for this moment, it will remain anchored through every season that follows. Understand this first. God never commands without purpose. Every divine instruction is both a test and a treasure. When he told Noah to build an ark, it wasn't just about wood and nails. It was about faith, to obey a word that made no sense to the natural mind. When he told Abraham to leave his father's house, it wasn't just about geography. It was about trust to step into a land he had never seen. When he whispered destiny over your life, it wasn't just about you succeeding, it was about proving to the world that heaven funds what it commands. The deeper meaning here is alignment. You are not just being blessed because God wants you comfortable. You are being resourced because there is a divine pattern unfolding. The command came first, the preparation followed, and now the provision will meet you at the place of obedience. This is the law of heaven. Where there is obedience, there is supply. Not supply first, then obedience. Faith always walks ahead of sight. Think of faith as a bridge. On one side is the command what God told you to do, even when it feels impossible. On the other side is the provision what God promised to give when you step forward. And the only way across is faith. Doubt stares at the gap and says, it's too wide. Fear stares at the water and says, it's too deep. But faith takes the first step, and suddenly the bridge appears under your feet. That is how the kingdom works. That is the hidden architecture behind your current season. There is also timing in this. The word says in Ecclesiastes, to everything there is a season. The command you received years ago was not ignored, it was planted. Seeds take time to germinate, to push through the soil, to break into the light. You have been living through that soil season, where everything felt buried, unseen, and heavy. But now, the sprout is emerging. The word planted in you is breaking through the surface, and heaven is releasing what it takes to sustain its growth. This is why your journey felt so unusual. While others seemed to move quickly, you felt delayed. While others seemed to prosper with less effort, you felt stretched thin. But here's the hidden truth. Greater roots require deeper soil. God was not punishing you, He was establishing you. Because what is about to grow in your life cannot be shallow. It must be unshakable. And so, the deeper principle is this. God funds endurance before He funds expansion. You were tested, refined, pressed, and sometimes even broken, but not to destroy you, to prepare the vessel. A weak vessel cannot carry a heavy outpouring. A shallow faith cannot sustain a deep blessing. That is why you were stretched, why you wept, why you felt the fire. It was the forging of a vessel strong enough to carry the provision without cracking. Now, look at the imagery heaven has been writing in your life. Storms came, but they did not sink you. Darkness pressed in, but it did not consume you. People doubted you, but they did not define you. These were all metaphors, rehearsals, prophetic symbols etched into your days. They were showing you that provision is not the miracle obedience island. Provision is the byproduct of a life anchored in obedience. So, what does this mean for you right now? It means the prophecy unveiled in the last section is not just about money, not just about doors opening. It is about heaven proving its covenant. It is about God's reputation being displayed through your obedience. You are living proof that the kingdom cannot be mocked. Where God commands, He sustains. Where He appoints, He anoints. Where He sends, He provides. Do not reduce this to mere survival. The blessing on its way is not about paying one bill or escaping one hardship. It is about setting you up for kingdom impact, about demonstrating to those watching that heaven takes care of its own. Your life is about to become a living parable, a walking testimony that speaks louder than sermons. The deeper meaning is this. Your journey is not for you alone. The provision will ripple outward. It will feed others, inspire others, confirm others. And that is why the enemy tried so hard to make you quit, because if you stopped, the ripple would never form. But you endured, and now the wave is about to break. This is where faith and fulfillment meet. This is where command and provision embrace. And soon, you will begin to see the first signs appear, subtle but undeniable, signaling that the prophecy is already unfolding. The shift will not come without signals. Heaven is too intentional to let you walk blind into fulfillment. There are markers, signs, subtle confirmations that whisper to your spirit, it's happening. Some you may already be experiencing, others are on their way. Pay attention, because the kingdom speaks not only in grand events, but in gentle patterns woven into your days. First, you will notice unusual alignment. Things that once felt out of reach will suddenly begin to fall into place. Conversations that seem random will lead to doors opening. Encounters with strangers will carry meaning, as if the universe itself is conspiring to point you in the right direction. What once required struggle will begin to unfold with ease, not because the path is empty of challenges, but because the hand of God is removing unnecessary resistance. Second, you will feel an inner stirring that cannot be explained away. It may come as restlessness, a sense that you are outgrowing the space you're in. It may come as peace that makes no sense given your circumstances. Either way, it is heaven adjusting your spirit for the new environment. Your body, your emotions, your mind will sense it before your eyes see it. That is confirmation that the prophecy is breaking through the unseen realm. Third, watch for unusual provision in small areas. Before the flood comes, there are trickles, unexpected money showing up, a debt cancelled, a gift you didn't ask for. These are appetizers of the banquet God is preparing. They are not the fullness, but they are signs that the resources are already moving toward you. Fourth, the presence of opposition. Yes, even resistance can be confirmation. When darkness senses break through, it stirs to distract you, discourage you, or push you into doubt. Don't misinterpret this as failure. It is proof that you are nearing the gate. The attacks grow sharpest at the threshold of breakthrough. When the voices of doubt grow louder, when the pressure intensifies, take it as a signal. You are close. Fifth, you will hear echoes of your prophecy from unexpected mouths. A song lyric, a sermon, a friend who says something without realizing it carries weight. God has a way of confirming His word by letting it find you from multiple directions. If you are paying attention, you will see the threads connecting. And finally, dreams and inner visions may begin to increase. At night, while your defenses are down, heaven speaks in symbols. A door opening, a river overflowing, a new garment being placed on you. These are not random. They are signposts from the Spirit reminding you of what is already unfolding. All of these signs are meant to anchor you. They are heaven's way of whispering, do not doubt, do not quit. What I said, I will do. The confirmation is already surrounding you. You only need to notice. And as the signs emerge, you must also prepare for what comes with them. Hidden challenges that test your faith before the fulfillment fully arrives. With every confirmation comes a test. Heaven never sends provision without first strengthening the vessel that will carry it. That is why, even as signs of breakthrough surround you, hidden challenges will rise as well. Not to punish you, but to sharpen you. Not to break you, but to prove that what you carry is durable enough for the weight of blessing. The first challenge is distraction. As the prophecy begins to unfold, voices will compete for your attention. Opportunities will arise that look good but are not God. Invitations will come that pull at your time, your energy, and your focus. This is where discernment becomes your shield. Remember, not every open door is divine. Some are detours designed to delay your arrival. The second challenge is isolation. You may find yourself misunderstood, even by those closest to you. When heaven funds a command, it does not send the blueprint to everyone, only to you. People may call you unrealistic, irresponsible, or even foolish. Do not let their lack of vision make you question your own. Obedience often looks like madness until the provision shows up. The third challenge is weariness. The waiting, the pressure, the unseen warfare. It can feel like too much. The enemy knows he cannot stop the blessing, so he tries to exhaust you before it arrives. Fatigue can whisper, "It's not worth it. Give up." But remember, you are not running in your own strength. The same Spirit who called you will carry you. The fourth challenge is fear of responsibility. As provision arrives, it will require you to rise into greater accountability. More resources mean more stewardship. More influence means more opposition. You may feel unqualified, too small for the stage heaven is placing you on. But God never funds a command without equipping the one he sends. The very areas where you feel inadequate will be the areas where his strength shines. The fifth challenge is spiritual warfare. Do not underestimate it. Dreams may feel attacked. Doubts may surge. Old temptations may resurface. But this is not a sign of failure. It is evidence that your obedience has disrupted enemy territory. You are being tested not just for your blessing, but for the generations after you who will inherit the fruit of your faith. Through all of this, keep this truth locked in your spirit. Hidden challenges are hidden confirmations. They only appear when something real is being birthed. The fire you face is not random. It is proof that heaven has already released what it promised, and the enemy is scrambling to block what he cannot stop. So endure the challenges with courage. Each one is shaping you, refining you, and making you ready. Because once you have endured, divine instruction will come, clear steps, urgent but empowering, guiding you into the very provision that has been waiting for you. Now that you understand the hidden challenges, it's time to receive the instruction. For every prophecy there is a pathway. For every promise there is a preparation. Provision does not arrive for the idle, it meets those who move in alignment. And so heaven speaks now, not in riddles, but in steps that will guide you into the fullness of what is coming. The first instruction is this: guard your faith like treasure. Doubt will knock, fear will whisper, but you cannot afford to let them nest in your spirit. Feed your faith daily with the word, with prayer, with declarations over your own life. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, he responded with, "It is written, you must do the same." Anchor yourself in promises so that when storms rise, you do not drift. The second instruction: release what no longer serves you. Provision flows where there is room. Some of the things cluttering your life, whether old relationships, habits, or mindsets, are blocking space for the new. Do not mourn what God removes. Every pruning is proof of coming fruit. If you feel something falling away, let it go. Trust that what remains is what will grow. Third, prepare practically. Faith is not an excuse for passivity. If you are praying for financial provision, steward what you already have wisely. If you are asking for opportunities, sharpen your skills. If you are expecting doors to open, be ready to walk through them. Heaven funds what it commands, but it does not pour new wine into old wineskins. Preparation is your signal to heaven that you are serious about receiving. Fourth, cultivate discernment. In this next season, not every voice that praises you will be for you, and not every voice that critiques you will be against you. Learn to sense the Spirit beneath the words. Some doors will appear wide, but lead to traps. Some alliances will seem beneficial, but carry hidden costs. The Spirit will guide you if you stay sensitive. Practice pausing, listening, and testing before acting. Fifth, stay humble. Pride is the quickest way to lose provision. Remember, the blessing coming is not to elevate your ego, but to advance the kingdom. When resources flow, keep gratitude at the center. When opportunities arrive, remember who opened the door. Heaven resists the proud but pours out grace on the humble. Let humility be your covering. Sixth, walk in generosity. The blessing is not just for you, it is designed to overflow. When you give, you align with the flow of heaven. Provision that is hoarded stagnates, but provision that is shared multiplies. Look for ways to bless, to sow, to invest in others. The measure you give will be the measure poured back into you. Seventh, remain watchful. Breakthrough seasons are often the most vulnerable because excitement can cloud judgment. Keep your spirit awake. Stay alert to distractions disguised as opportunities. Stay vigilant against old patterns trying to sneak back in. Watch and pray, because the enemy does not rest when he sees you advancing. And finally, trust the pace. Heaven's timing is precise. Do not rush what is meant to ripen. Do not despise what looks small. The command is already funded, but the release will come in appointed stages. Some blessings will trickle before they flood. Some opportunities will appear smaller than the promise, but they are stepping stones. Trust the process. These instructions are not burdens, they are weapons. They equip you to walk steady, to move with clarity, to receive without fear of losing. If you align yourself with these steps, nothing can stop what has been written. And as you carry these instructions forward, remember, you are not walking alone. The next phase will surround you with divine protection, ensuring that no weapon formed against you prospers, and that every step is shielded in peace. Provision without protection is incomplete. What heaven sends, it also shields. You are not being pushed into this next chapter unguarded. You are being surrounded. Even now, there are unseen forces positioned around you, walls of fire and angels on assignment, ensuring that what has been promised is not stolen in transit. Think about it. If God commanded ravens to feed Elijah in the wilderness, do you not think he also commanded protection over Elijah's life while he was vulnerable? If he opened the Red Sea for Israel, do you not think he also held back the enemy's hand until his people crossed safely? This is the nature of God. He not only provides, he preserves. Your mind may wander to the what ifs. What if I fail? What if I'm attacked? What if I'm not strong enough? But the truth is this: your strength is not the shield. The shield is his presence. The psalmist said, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That shadow is not just comfort, it is covering. In the coming days, you may feel storms try to rise again, but storms are not proof of abandonment. They are proof that protection is active. You will notice situations where harm should have reached you, but it didn't. Accidents that nearly happened but were avoided. Conversations that could have destroyed you, but somehow got silenced. Doors that closed, not because you weren't good enough, but because heaven knew danger hid on the other side. These are not coincidences. These are assurances. And the assurance grows deeper still. You are not alone in this. God will send people to stand beside you. Some will be intercessors praying for you, without you even knowing. Some will be mentors guiding you with wisdom. Some will simply carry presence, peace, and loyalty when the world feels unstable. Do not dismiss them. They are part of your covering. You need to let this sink in. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. The enemy may form them. He may design strategies, stir up opposition, or whisper lies. But forming is not prospering. Schemes can launch, but they cannot land. Attacks can rise, but they cannot overtake. You walk under an assurance stronger than any human threat. Rest in this. You do not need to keep glancing over your shoulder, waiting for disaster. Your story is not written in fear, it is written in covenant. And the same God who commanded the blessing will guard it until it fully blooms. Now, with protection in place, your heart can focus not on survival but on transformation. Because the blessing is not just about what you receive, it is about who you become when heaven funds what it commands. When heaven funds what it commands, the change that comes is not only external, it is internal. Provision arrives, yes, but the deeper miracle is the transformation it brings inside of you. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to move differently. You begin to understand why the waiting, the struggle, and the pressure were necessary. Fulfillment is not just about the prophecy being completed. It is about you stepping into a version of yourself that could not have existed without the process. The very areas where you once doubted become the places where your faith is strongest. The very wounds that once hurt the most become testimonies you carry like banners of victory. The seasons of lack that humbled you become the foundation for stewarding abundance without arrogance. Picture it. You wake up one morning and realize you are no longer bound by the same fears. What once paralyzed you now feels powerless. What once intimidated you now looks small in the light of your growth. That is transformation, when the old chains no longer fit, when the old labels no longer define you, when the old mindsets no longer limit you. And in this fulfillment, you begin to overflow. The blessing does not stop with you, it ripples outward. People notice the difference in your presence. They sense the peace, the strength, the unshakable confidence that comes not from ego, but from knowing you are walking in something divinely orchestrated. Your story becomes a map for others, still in their waiting, still in their doubt. You become proof that God is faithful. Transformation also shifts your relationship with provision itself. No longer do you see resources as random or unstable. You see them as streams that flow from obedience. You stop chasing opportunities and start attracting them. You stop fearing scarcity and start trusting divine timing. You begin to walk with a steady rhythm, unhurried, unshaken, because you know heaven funds what it commands. This fulfillment is also emotional. Gratitude begins to saturate your days. You no longer measure yourself by what you lack, but by the faithfulness that carried you here. Tears of frustration turn into tears of joy. Prayers of desperation turn into prayers of thanksgiving. The heavy sighs of waiting turn into songs of praise. And still, the transformation goes deeper. Your obedience, your endurance, your faith, they become generational. Others in your family line will benefit from the breakthrough you have walked into. What once was a cycle of lack or fear or delay is broken, and a new cycle begins, a cycle of faith, of provision, of divine alignment. You did not endure just for yourself. You endured to shift an entire lineage. So, this is fulfillment, not just the arrival of resources, but the arrival of identity, not just the unlocking of doors, but the unlocking of you. You will look back and realize that the true miracle was not the blessing itself, but the way it shaped you, healed you, stretched you, and revealed the depth of God's covenant over your life. And now, as this chapter prepares to close, the Spirit seals it with affirmations and blessings, short truths for you to carry, repeat, and live by as you step fully into what has been promised. Take this moment slowly. Let the weight of everything spoken sink into your spirit. What has been declared over you is not fantasy, it is truth. And now, to seal it, repeat these affirmations until they burn into your bones. I walk in divine provision, because heaven funds what it commands. No doubt, no fear, no weapon can block what has already been written. 3. I am equipped, protected, and sustained for every step of my assignment. 4. The blessing is not coming, it is here, unfolding around me right now. Let these be your anchor. Whisper them in the morning when you wake, and in the quiet moments before you sleep. Speak them when doubt tries to rise. Declare them when circumstances seem unchanged. Your words are not empty, they are seeds. And as you sow them, heaven waters them. Now receive this blessing. May the God who called you remind you daily that his hand does not fail. May peace cover your mind like a shield. May every hidden provision locate you, every divine connection align with you, every delay give way to acceleration. May you stand so rooted in faith that storms cannot move you. May your heart overflow with gratitude, and may your life become undeniable proof that heaven funds what it commands. Walk forward with expectation. Not a fragile hope, but a fierce confidence. What has been spoken is sealed. What has been promised is unfolding. What has been commanded is already funded. Go in peace. Go in faith. Go in strength. And never forget you are living under divine order, wrapped in divine provision, and marked for divine fulfillment.